Racing to the 2020 Belmont Stakes. This time, let's take a look at some of the early contenders, the big three as you may, and take a look at what some people are starting to kind of visualize and handicap the pace scenario, as a lot of these horses of the main contenders like to be forwardly placed. So what I've done here is kind of just lay out start by start with their first career race and then going back to their most recent race at the bottom. And today we're going to take a look at just the three main contenders. We've outlined the second call position and the second call beaten links. Their finish position, of course all of these horses are winners, just one loss between them. And then we've got the max speed and then the late pace, because I think the late pace can kind of put a little bit further, clearer picture on what the pace scenario could play out. And for some of those people that are starting to like a particular horse, again, you always want to see the final field. You're going to want to see the track position, how it's playing, especially on the day of the race, not the day before, not 2 days before. But let's just kind of take a look, because that second call position is a key here. Most of these horses have raced forwardly placed. Now, Tiz the Law, back in his debut, did come from 4th place at the second call. And then in October in the Champagne, he ran from 3rd place, but that was a very fast pace that day, and he took advantage and pulled away to the victory. He did come from off the pace a little bit, but then again, he had a little bit of a trip that day. He was trapped at the rail. He was in 4th place, and that was the only race that he lost. But the second call beaten link shows a little bit different picture. Even though he was 4th, he was only 2 lengths back at the second call, and when he was 4th at Churchill Downs, he was just a little over a length off at that second call. So you don't want to get too in-depth looking at that second call, just the position. You want to look at the links back, and none of these horses have ever really been that far back. Nadal officially in his second lifetime race was 0.13 links back at the second call position, and then even in the race like the Holy Bull, it was Tiz the Law, just that same 0.3 links back at the second call position. Of course, the wins, and then of course the Brisnet speed, key speed figure in the Holy Bull, a 108 for Tiz the Law. He came home with a fast late pace of a 105, and that's why he was hammered at the windows in the Florida Derby. Meanwhile, you've got a 102 Brisnet speed figure for Charlatan and Nadal, but the reason why some of the people are leaning towards Nadal is because he came home with a late pace of 92 versus Charlatan taking a look at that 88 late pace. Now the Charlatan fans are going to argue that he was geared down more late. He faced weaker horses. He did what he had to do. He kind of blew that race open on the turn. But that's the art and science of handicapping. If it was all going to be run on paper, you would just take a look maybe at the late pace and say that Tiz the Law is going to win. And maybe he will win, but that shows a bigger picture. So what do you think of the early pace scenario? Do you think Charlatan had more in the tank? Nadal looks like a tank. And then Tiz the Law. He's always got that Holy Bull, that 108 Brisnet speed figure, and that 105 late pace. If he can go back to that, he's going to be a contender with any of these horses that you line up against him from this crop. Remember, hit subscribe. We're going to lead you all the way up to the 2020 Belmont Stakes and the Kentucky Derby. Ring that bell for notifications. Share this video with all your horse racing fans as we continue to look ahead to the 2020 Belmont Stakes.